So Europe is kind of a mess right now. You got Muslims throwing a massive temper tantrum and being all kinds of violent and disruptive. I'ma tell it from the start. Just before the Muslim feast, Eid al-Adha, like a few days ago, a protest went out in Sweden where the Quran was burned publicly in front of a mosque. The protest was greenlit by the Swedish police, of course. In the first world, protests and demonstrations are often scheduled with authorities rather than done spontaneously, which is then treated as a riot.
The Swedish police today granted permission to burn the Quran outside Stockholm's main square or mosque. This happened as part of a protest ahead of the three-day Muslim holiday of Eid al-Adha.
Some say this was an act of hate, which, sure, I can see that argument being sound. But what many are missing is that this kind of stuff goes both ways. If this were a Bible burning or Torah or whatever else, I think it would have been given the okay too. At least that's what the laws there say. They don't make exceptions. Despite the fact, sticking to the rules on this one might hinder their plans to join NATO, given that Turkey is a Muslim state and not very happy with this. So kudos to the Swedes for putting rules above personal gain. Of course, Muslims didn't take that very well and went apeshit. First in Sweden, doing counter-protests, some of which may have devolved to violence, and then on a wider range. France is especially affected due to their large Muslim population. Riots are raging, looting, fighting, very likely from all groups, not just Muslims. I don't trust the French. It's a mess. Special forces have been summoned there to contain the mess that is still ongoing. This is not new to Muslims in any capacity. I've spoken about it before. Their bully mob mentality. They are entitled to do whatever they want, wherever, to whoever, but not have it done to them in the slightest, even in reaction. This is especially evident in shithole countries where they are a majority, like here in Egypt. Examples are abundant, the most recent of which, a few weeks ago, this Christian kid, Mina Ahmed, I believe was his name, was put on public blast on social media for talking smack about their prophet, and it was even suggested that it be made a court case. But then he publicly apologized under the pressure and it calmed the whole situation down. What he said about the prophet wasn't unprovoked. The guy he said it to on text started by making fun of Mina's religion, so that's fine. But when Mina knee-jerk reacted and attacked his religion back, it suddenly isn't okay to diss religion? Do you see the double standard? I believe in civilized discourse on such sensitive topics, but if we are not being civil, I believe equality is the next best thing, allowing both parties to throw punches. Making it public and relying on the mob to win an argument is just pussy shit. If you're not convinced yet, just look at how they talk about Jews, Christians, and Hindus, and even Shia, the other Muslim sect that is a majority. For context, the majority here is Sunni. This mindset is why they struggle so much to integrate in the West and end up isolating together, becoming their own hood or slum, like the Arab Street in Berlin, Paris, and other major Western cities. They simply can't handle abiding by rules that go both ways. In an act of sweet irony, the man who burned the Quran is an Iraqi refugee, and naturally, Muslims wasted his blood, meaning they greenlit a manhunt for him. A lot of evidence on social media. Here is my favorite one I've seen, due to the fact it's from an account belonging to an icon from the Syrian uprising with a big following. As Salman Rushdie lived, scared, chased, and hiding until he was stabbed in his first public appearance, should live all who violate the holy and insult religion, the word of Allah and His holy Prophet, chased, afraid, and in hiding. And anyone who meets any of them, finds them, or knows where to find them, should get closer to Allah through them. A hardcore follower of the religion of peace and forgiveness is telling you that you can get closer to your God through bloodshed. Muslims also love to play the victim card, audaciously enough. Whenever the slightest inconvenience happens to them outside their own territory, they immediately call persecution and discrimination, completely ignoring all they have done and still do to other groups around them. And this has always been the case. And a reminder that these guys living in the West are there by choice. You could always move back to where you fled from or another Muslim majority country, but they don't. So clearly they like it where they are, but then they try to change it to make it like the places they fled from. So clearly they don't like it there. What do you do with a group like this? On a side note, amidst all this mess, Putin suddenly started to like Muslims and gave them a nice ass kissing.
Это святыня мусульманская святыня. И для всех других тоже должна и является святыней. Мы знаем, что в других странах поступают иначе. Не уважают религиозные чувства людей. И еще говорят, что это не преступление. В нашей стране это преступление.
But ass kissing is gay and therefore haram, so from what I hear, he was reminded of the conflict he has always had with them and was called out on his bullshit. I think he's just that desperate for any kind of allies at this point, given the way things have been going in Ukraine and all. And also maybe trying to get Sweden off NATO so he has less enemies. My personal issue with this shit is the following. 1. My target area to move to in the future Europe is the one affected. Muslims didn't have enough by fucking up my homeland by birth. They are now making my potential new home a living hell too. And 2, this makes it harder for individuals like myself to immigrate, integrate, and be accepted. Even though I am very clearly not one of them, and I am not there to start trouble, just trying to escape them. This still throws in more complications than there already are, due to the fact that I come from the same region. At the very least, I am now guaranteed to get side eyes if I ever even make it. So that's great. If any noteworthy updates happen, I'll do a follow-up video. Bye now. Stay safe if you're near this mess.